Good evening, and welcome to the General Motors Design Center in Warren, Michigan. We are in the lobby of the Eero Saarinen Styling Center, completed in 1955. The Technical Center was the first major independent project of Eero Saarinen. His design for the iconic mid-century modern campus received architectural accolades and was described as the Versailles of industry by Life magazine in 1956. Visible from the lobby is the Antoine Pevsner bronze sculpture, Lines in Motion, Birds in Flight. It's made of oxidized black bronze with raised lines in polished bronze and is 20 feet high. It is intended to serve as an artistic symbol of speed and motion. The reception teacup desk is a replica of the original, recreated in conjunction with Herman Miller in 2004 from photographs of the original, and is constructed of white fiberglass. The stainless steel wall behind the reception desk is also a reproduction of the original, an etched steel work by artist Buell Mullen. The original, titled Lines in Motion, was painted on stainless steel and sought to give the feeling of ideas springing from plans or blueprints. As we head upstairs to the gallery, please note one of the most beautiful elements of the lobby. The floating staircase is a focal point of the lobby and is suspended above a reflecting pool against a backdrop of multi-hued black glazed brick. Designed by Kevin Roche, the overlapping fine white terrazzo slabs are caught in tension between pencil-thin stainless steel rods. There are 42 steps in all, each slightly overlapping. The chrome rods use marine-derived connectors to hold them in place, with the upper rods in tension and the lower rods in stabilizing compression. The railing is made of laminated teak set on chrome posts.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for the General Motors Design Center Brushes with Cancer Detroit Celebration and Art Exhibition. My name is August Spree, and I am an executive board member for Twist Out Cancer, an international organization that uses creative arts programming to provide social and emotional support to those touched by cancer. Twist Out Cancer was founded on the principle that when you share, the world opens up. As many of you know, a cancer diagnosis can be isolating, frustrating, terrifying, and a host of other things that we may or may not have the space to process or discuss. Twist Out Cancer provides the community, both online and in real life, and the platform and tools for anyone who has been affected by cancer to share, connect, and heal. One of the main ways we do that is through this program, Brushes with Cancer. Over the last few months, our inspirations, as we call them, have been sharing their twist on cancer with the artists they have been thoughtfully matched with. The artists have created works of art that reflect the journey of their inspiration, and we are here tonight to celebrate the people and stories that inspired this art. I am a cancer survivor myself. I was diagnosed with a fatty tissue cancer at 27 years old while 8 months pregnant with my second son. Not long after my experience with cancer, my grandmother who raised me was diagnosed, and 10 months later she was gone. Participating in the Brushes with Cancer program helped me share and heal in ways I did not expect, and I became more involved with the organization and with helping others to connect and heal. I am so honored to share these stories with you today, from the amazing inspirations and artists who have participated in the GM Design Center program this summer. Our inspirations come from all walks of life and each with their own unique story. We have 16 females and 9 males, including 15 survivors and 6 caregivers. As you all know, Twist Out Cancer does not focus on one type of cancer, and the cancers represented in this program include many types, such as GI cancer, lymphoma, breast cancer, and leukemia. Some inspirations have had to say goodbye to loved ones. Others are still in the fight with their loved ones, and still others have battled cancer multiple times themselves or alongside their loved ones. All of them open their hearts to join us here and share their stories with their artists and with us, and for that we are grateful. May their stories inspire others to share, connect, and heal.
Good evening, my name is Jeffrey Froger. I'm standing in the General Motors Design Center gallery. The reason for the mask is because we take safety very seriously at design. I've been the GM Design Center gallery curator since 2012. I attended the Detroit 2019 Brushes with Cancer event shortly after the passing of my wife Julie due to stomach cancer. I was overwhelmed with emotion at the event, and I was determined to bring Brushes with Cancer to the design employees. We are grateful and thankful for our relationship with Twist Out Cancer staff and design leadership for supporting this event. The artists who have created these works of art all have very different roles at GM. Their roles range from creative designers, sculptors, engineers, process development, and lighting designer to 3 design center retirees who are participating. Now I'm happy to showcase 25 of the finest pieces of art the GM Design Center Gallery has ever seen. Thank you for attending, enjoy the artwork, and be inspired by the stories.
Unwavering Beauty, acrylic and pencil. In this piece, Ashley wanted to capture the moves her mother Susan took in her journey and painted a moving body of water. A body of water is ever-changing. It is at times turbulent and at others calm. It possesses enormous power and beauty. Susan possesses enormous power and beauty, and never more so during her fight with cancer. The rocks of the landscape are drawn in pencil, both to accentuate the color of the water and to represent a landscape that has no permanence. Resilience, mixed media. Sarah, the inspiration for this piece, is captured being surrounded by the very words she used to describe her personal story. The word resilience was chosen to be highlighted in this piece, which best describes Sarah's remarkable bravery, recovery, and positive outlook throughout all the adversity she faced while undergoing treatment. The gold rings surrounding her figure in the painting symbolically represent her mother and father, who have also been affected by cancer. The Ascending, stone, steel, and wood. The artistic style and aesthetic typically center around capturing a gesture or movement through the incorporation of traditional materials. In the case of The Ascending, Travis used wood, stone, and steel to evoke a feeling of overarching peace and freedom amidst the presence of heavy weight and burden. Afterwards, mixed media and caustic. The artwork depicts the double blessings and realities, yet focuses on the afterwards. Marge enjoys every day as a gift from above. Her homes provide a sanctuary, a resting place, the story of who she is, along with their loved ones and the things she cherishes. Her foundation rests upon her faith, family, and friends. So being refreshed, Marge prepares herself for moving forward, pressing on, now walking more circumspectly. Having gone a distance, she looks behind both of her recoveries afterward. She reflects knowing that they are brought about through a providential means of grace by a healing branch from the tree of life. The Storm Has Passed is a watercolor piece. The Round Island Lighthouse represents Linda because of its history in the Straits of Mackinac. During its service, the lighthouse served as a beacon of hope and safety, providing sailors a guiding light for safe passage through the darkness of night and storms. The storm clouds symbolize Cancer, while the golden sky and smooth water emanate hope of a bright future. Love is a Verb is a digital illustration. Its purpose is to be Beth Marie's husband's, Steve's, voice, to inform the world that love is a verb, not just a noun. The eulogy within the artwork was written by Steve, but he did not get to read it at Beth's funeral service. Fetish and Book. Taking a collection of powerful poems written by Dave, the artist Dick compiled them into 2 books made from repurposed materials. The first one incorporates objects like weathered tar paper, porcupine quills, pebbles from the street, and a Cheerio. The second uses a beat-up briefcase from a history professor from Wayne State University. All the materials used were inspired by the poems themselves and reflect the deep and introspective nature of the writings.
I was diagnosed in July of 2019 with stage 3 bladder cancer. Being a mechanic at heart, my first thought was that the technical skill of the medical specialist was by far the most important part of the healing process. As critical as all that certainly was, I came to realize that what was driving me to go on was the incredible support offered by my wife, family, friends, and coworkers. Cutting the tumor out was, of course, a critical step, but I don't think that my recovery could have succeeded without knowing that so many people cared so much. We all have an expiration date, but mine has been postponed, and I like to think that this latest display of love and support has pushed that date out just a little bit further. Thank you to Dick Kruger, GM Design, and Twist Out Cancer.
Light in the chaos: wood, acrylic paint, spray paint, and LED lights. The gradient from red to green represents David and his family's emotions, from good times to the bad times, from the smallest moments of happiness to the worst of times. The small squares of splattered art represents the most troubling pockets of time for his family. The black squares are representative of the times of darkness David and his family have gone through, symbolizing some of the emotions he conveyed: frustration, loneliness, numbness, being torn, hopelessness, and confusion. Finally, to put it all together, Matt framed out the piece and backlit it with bright white underlighting. The light represents the positivity and support that he knows David and his family needs, and the hope that he has. An enduring faith, oil on canvas.
I imagined a scene of Jeff with his daughters supporting one another through their grief. In the painting, you'll notice that Jeff and his daughters are painted in a grayscale, while the sky and the photo of the 4 of them together are painted in warm, bright colors. I wanted the light to symbolize the love and light and joy that Julie brought into their lives. So I'm really grateful to have had this experience and gotten to know Jeff and his story. It's made me really appreciate my wife and realize that I can't take even the littlest moments and the uniqueness of her for granted. And I'm just so grateful to have had this experience and gotten to know Jeff.
Underwater: acrylic paint, latex paint, and epoxy. This piece symbolizes Marty's journey as he has battled with numerous altercations with cancer. Marty is an amazing person with such a positive outlook, but has been overwhelmed with each bout. With all these different battles, the feeling of being constantly underwater is the basis for the background of the painting. The white lines were done by pendulum painting. A can of paint was set up above the canvas on a string and released to create an organic flow. This is symbolic of Marty's path in life, not knowing where life will take you, not knowing where you will end up. Just a bump in the road, charcoal. The focal point of this drawing, a portrait of Andrea, is a representation of her acceptance in whom she has become as a result of her story. Alan was drawn to an experience Andrea described with regard to the challenge of parenting while being diagnosed with cancer for the second time. Specifically, there is the internal struggle with whether or not there is anything you can promise your children. Struck by Light is an ink and paint on canvas. This piece is meant to inspire and speak to the spirituality that has helped guide the figure through these events. The sun changed a life, but faith has shaped it. Ashley gives life. This painting on wood is a memoir for Ashley Wolf, daughter-in-law of Beth Pierce. Ashley was a strong and beautiful woman who found out that she had stage 4 lung cancer while she was pregnant. Ashley made the conscious decision to delay chemo treatments in order to put the health of her unborn child over her own. Even though Ashley is no longer on this earth, Beth keeps her spirit alive through fond memories, and in the 2 grandchildren Ashley brought into Beth's life. The piece itself is a visual representation of Ashley's spirit in relation to the earth as mother of all life. Seen in the imagery is a dogwood tree that symbolizes purity, rebirth, and ancestry. The changing seasons, the woman who resides within the tree also transforms throughout a pregnancy. Through this piece, Ashley's love and strength can be remembered from a place of beauty in relation to the full circle of life. Flipside is a Conti crayon on gesso panel. It focuses on the positive side of Ruth's outcome via her beautiful smile and the incredibly positive, inspiring person that she is. Enjoy Flipside, as you are living proof that our spirit can be indomitable. Briars to Blooms, watercolor and tissue paper on canvas. The journey in recovery from cancer is imperfect but yields beautiful results, exactly like watercolor and torn tissue. The inspiration provided the artist with all the words Dawn felt through her journey from discovery through recovery. Placed under a veil of tissue, the words were her underlying feelings. A tough nut to crack. Walnuts, polymer, wood. Each walnut has a sculpture of Carol's emotional likeness on the outside, expressing many of the different states of mind she experienced: fear, sadness, calm, grief, physical pain, resolve, and joy. Some other walnuts' expressions are half-formed, like faded feelings or mixed emotions. Some are not formed at all, emotions yet to be had. They collectively represent the mass of feelings Carol had and is still having, dealing with her illness. Leavenworth, gouache and found object. The artwork's title means skirt of life in Dutch. Within the artwork there are 2 skirts, one skirt for each sister, which are symbols of the sisters' lives, weaving a pattern of their lives in the skirts. A windmill, a symbol of continuum and transformation and family memory. A stained glass window with light shining upward, a sign of a sister's spiritual transformation and continuum. In front of it all, a piece of aluminum from a car wheel melted by the worst forest fire in California's history represents the Cancer spreading sadness over their life story. Fire, a symbol of devastation and cancer, yet also renewal in life, is another element of this piece. The artwork shares a brother's testimony of a sister's life to others, a life story that continues, and a journey that heals and transforms others. In sorrow, we are all connected. Thrive, watercolor, ink, and single-colored pencil. In this illustration, the huge, nonsensical, spectacled, joyous creature at the front and center, poised and ready to make the most of the day ahead, as Sandy would be, post-cancer. A free spirit, going after everything it wants and needs to obtain true happiness. Its self-acquired wings and crazy stockinged legs are attached and ready to move. Beauty, things to wish upon, and things to be on the lookout for abound. Important reminders are present too. The cardinals represent Sandy's dad, a loved one who will always be there, no matter what the time or the weather. The rock, like Sandy's mantra, states how it will consciously live each day it is given. This creature settles for nothing. It gives every day its best shot. Rise Up in acrylic paint on canvas. Lynn rose to the challenge, choosing to receive each treatment with patience and positivity, as a step towards triumph. Always fighting but still rising, Carrie, the artist, wanted to show that ascent in this piece, the rise of her colorful spirit. Always in my heart, stained glass. The hope in this piece was to capture a little bit of Jacob's wife, Carrie, in this very colorful window for their 3 boys. When the sun's rays shine through the window, they will know that their angel mom is smiling at them. Ben Kelly, acrylic. The imagery in the painting reflects Ben's story. This being the first time Ben's story has been shared, Rad, the artist, was excited to help him tell his story through the painting. Much effort was placed into fitting all of Ben's cancer story on one canvas. Each vignette features a different part of the story. The painting started out as monochromatic, with just burnt sienna and titanium white. As the painting developed, Rad felt it needed a bit more depth, so he introduced more colors, including warm reds and cool blues. Warm colors to have the eye focus on the focal point, and the cool colors to fade out the background. Skyward Bound Memories is a multiple material piece, including plastic, wood, paint, stone, and brass.
I wanted to create an art piece out of materials that are strong, such as wood and brass, showcasing the strength Alexandria had shown going through cancer treatment at such a young age. I also wanted to symbolize her ability to move forward and not let her past dictate her future. So I created an hourglass form that also symbolizes the passage of time, which heals all wounds. But also, as the sand passes from one half of an hourglass to another, it's almost like making way for a new future and being able to see what the future holds once the bad sands of time or circumstances have passed. But most importantly, I wanted to showcase what Alexandria had shown to me, and that is her ability to see the positive in such a negative situation. So I chose to use a lot of iridescent colors throughout the piece, which symbolize the glimmers of hope and positivity that she had shown me throughout this entire process. and her ability to see that is just something that I found very amazing. So I hope that through this piece, I am able to share with you what Alexandria had shared with me through her story and her communication with me.
Oh No is an acrylic on masonite. The painting shows the moment of discovery, with her fingers wrapped in her thick head of hair. There's a sense of vulnerability with the darkness of uncertainty symbolized on the left, but there is also sunlight shining through the window, symbolizing hope. Laura, a watercolor. The imagery in Laura's painting reflects her passion, most importantly the sunset, which was the last one she shared with her husband Mike, and is etched on his headstone. Paths and detours can add to your life. You never know what tomorrow brings. Goddess of Feminine Strength, porcelain. To represent the undeniable perseverance Danielle displayed during this time in her life, the artist used the symbols of a hummingbird and a lotus flower to represent Danielle as a goddess. The hummingbird for freedom and strength, and the lotus flower that blooms in even the darkest waters. The yoga pose one-legged dog is incorporated in the design, and is a pose in which Danielle feels strong. The downward pointing triangle historically represents femininity, and all these symbols are seen dancing throughout 3 small triangles that make up one larger upside-down triangle.
Hello, my name is Kara Thomas, and I'm a creative sculptor here at the Design Center and board member for the 2020 Brushes with Cancer Partnership. I was first introduced to Brushes with Cancer in 2019, where I participated as an artist. It was then that I created my first one-of-a-kind piece of ceramic sculpture for my inspiration, and was touched by my experience in the program. Along with being a board member for the 2020 program, I was a mentor to multiple matches that participated in the show, supporting them in their journey. Additionally, I participated as an artist, creating 2 individual pieces of art for 2 different inspirations. This next segment is a time-lapse video that captures the intricate detail of my process creating the piece next to me. Being in my studio creating art for this show has not only been a healing experience for my inspirations, but also a healing experience for me during these unprecedented times. It is our hope that this video will give you insight into how much time and effort went into creating each of the pieces in this exhibit. My process begins with making a plaster mold. Here I am in my studio pouring the plaster, and I'm working with it in a thick subtropic state, which is halfway between a solid and a liquid. I'm using a drywall rasp in this clip to shave the sides of the plaster down so that it can be casted evenly on each side. This is a photo of my plaster mold filled with a liquid clay called slip. As I take the mold apart, I start to clean up the sides. And this is the final photo of my first slip-casted pyramid form, along with 2 others. I decided to create a vinyl stencil to make an intricate pattern on each side of the pyramid. Here I am taking the vinyl stencil and placing it on the side of the pyramid in a way that creates a very detailed result. The last part of my process is glazing. Here I am taking the glaze and pouring it inside of the pyramid form, and then spraying an underglaze on top of the vinyl stencil to create the pattern on the side of the pyramid. As I peel the vinyl off of the form, I am able to get the pattern on there with glaze And to protect the glaze, I paint over top of it with a liquid latex, which allows me to layer different glazes on the form. The last part of the process for my glazing, I get to peel the latex off to reveal the intricate pattern. I am then left with a pattern in glaze that no longer has vinyl on it. And after firing the pieces to 1942 degrees, I unload my kiln to excitedly find out that they turned out the way that I wanted, and it resulted in a beautiful piece that I was able to make for my inspiration. I am just one of 22 other artists that participated in this program. I have spoke to many of the artists about their creation process. Everyone has a unique way of working, and I'm so honored and moved by each piece created for this show. Thank you to all of you for donating your time and resources and making this program possible. We wanted to highlight some of the individual studio spaces of the participating artists. At a gallery opening, under normal circumstances, you would be able to interact with each artist as they show you pictures on their phone and talk to them about their process leading to the finished work of art. To accommodate for this, we asked each artist to submit a photograph of the personal space or studio where they created their art. What we're sure you will see is that each artist's space conveys the same individualism and creativity as the art they created. These are the places of calm, the places of inspiration, and these are the places that are the heart of the art for Brushes with Cancer.